This is your girl Yin Chantress, aka Honey Tea, also known as Yin's a Star, and I'm coming there. I want to talk about contracts. I have allowed myself to be contractually obligated to need a change in our life experience. So that means that if you have verbalized and if you believe that this life experience has major issues and things need to change, then whatever that needed change is, I'm contractually obligated to it. Okay? That's what you need to understand while watching my videos. I have and I'm not the only one, okay? I won't really expound on anybody else and what they're doing. I'm just going to talk about me. And so when you listen to my videos, it's going to be something that you don't quite comprehend, but hearing it, you're going to know that it is exactly what I said it is, because I've contracted with something that is a naturally occurring process. What we're experiencing and what we know is wrong with our experience is something that has been induced, injected. We've been exposed to it. It's not something that occurred naturally. That's why it has created the effects that it has. Whenever creation or nature or whatever it is that you believe is a part of this natural process, it always gives an answer, or it always gives a remedy for whatever it is that ails us that occurs naturally, because there has to be a balance in this environment. It can't be all light. That's why we have the example of day and light. So I'm going to give you a key component, and your brain, initially, you're not going to want to accept this, but it's going to make sense to everything that is attached to wanting things to change. If anyone comes to you and they're speaking about the concept of lightness, walk into the light, that everything that we need to benefit us is attached to the light, then they're a part of the problem. I've made videos before, and now it's going to make more sense. Naturally, there is day and night. There's light and there's darkness. So that is an indication to you, the person that's listening, that both of it are important. So a person that is going to be a part of needed change is going to articulate that. Anyone that's telling you to walk in the darkness completely or walk in the light completely is a part of the problem, and I'm telling you, you shouldn't listen to them. Okay, I proceed. Yes, I've contracted and I've committed to being a part of needed change. And like I said, I'm not the only one. We've been tried on many, many levels, and we've been tried over and over and over again. Those of us that have been allowed to sit down and contract with needed change have been tried in the fire, and we've made it in ways that you couldn't even imagine. And there are going to be things that I'm going to say that before you just didn't quite get it. But now that I'm contracted, creation and everything that is attached to creation and which transpires naturally in this realm is going to prove what I said. And it's going to prove it naturally. So you won't really have to think about it. It's just going to be a natural occurrence, and you're going to finally get it if you're wanting things to change the way that they should. So I wanted to come and say that openly, and to verbalize and to decree what I'm attached to. And it will all make sense. It's starting to make sense to those that are closest around me. And I have to say this. If you have a natural scenario and it has become imbalanced, it has become sick, it has become perverted, the answer to rectifying that is not going to come in a pleasurable manner. It's going to come in exactly the way that it needs to, and it's not going to be subject to how you feel about it or how you desire it to behave. It's going to come in and do exactly what it needs to do. I'm going to give you an example. If you've ever been sick and you've had a healing, that healing did not come by in the manner in which you desire. Sometimes you had to be, sat down and forced to accept whatever it is to make you better. You get what I'm saying? But the bottom line is, the end result is, when it's all over, are you better for it? I mean, not in the manner in which you've been taught by world programs, okay? But do you, in your deepest existence, know that you're better for what you've just gone through? Because there's been an attempt to mimic what nature does, because there's an attempt to pervert the natural process of this life experience, because there are some individuals and entities that are depleted of what nature provides, that they've attempted to modify and create and augment these scenarios, and then come in and say, aha, I have the answer, when we didn't even have to go through the shit to begin with. Okay? I'm going to give you an example. And I always try to go to the most rudimentary aspect of our existence. If you were a nomadic individual, no cars, you know what I'm saying? No buildings, no grocery stores. And you went out with people in your village to go and bring food back. You might go out in nature, and you may stumble upon, let's say, a poisonous plant that nature has allowed to grow because it does have its purpose, and you become ill. Now, they'll take you back to the village, and there will naturally be someone who has been erected as the provider for healing, that they've taken natural medicines to, be able to learn and study these medicines to be able to help the people in the village. They bring you back to that person, and that person will use what they've learned to help you. That's natural. But when you have alternate verse, where you have cars, airplanes, buildings, all these poisons and chemicals in the air to sustain these things begin to inject or present or induce unnatural diseases. So nature says, look, I don't have shit to do with that. That's unnatural. And so there's a whole industry that has created aids to make you feel better, sometimes when they're byproducts of the things that they created that shouldn't be here. And so it creates this whole system, this engine. That's the difference. You get what I'm saying? Another scenario, something that would be more relatable. When my eldest child was growing up, he would get reoccurring ear infections. Now, being the individual that I am, I always wanted to be a more natural eating, but I didn't understand nutrition. And so my family didn't understand nutrition. So I was just navigating my way through, and I had some bad habits. My son always loved milk. I breastfed him, but I also supplemented with formula. So my son adapted this unnatural desire to taste, cow's milk. And that was attributing to him getting the repeated ear infections. So by the time he was 6, he had them so often that it was creating a issue. And the issue was that I had taken him to a pediatrician. And let me stop this because it's past 10 minutes and the average person will see 10 minutes and don't want to listen past that. So I'm going to continue the story.